Tonight's story begins with a wedding invitation and ends with something wearing a human face. A woman orders her perfect husband online, a man who never argues, never leaves, and might not even breathe. When her ex-boyfriend follows her to a cabin in the woods, he discovers that love, folklore, and the changeling myth are alive and waiting for a new groom. Because some vows aren't spoken to God, they're whispered to what watches from the dark. Welcome to Nightmare Proof, where true horror comes alive. Here, you'll hear real stories of the strange, the disturbing, and the unexplainable. Turn down the lights, get comfortable, and prepare to face the darkness. The love of my life ordered a husband online. He's not human. It was Crow's greatest night. Crow watched us in the dark outside the campfire, learning, crafting, practicing for his greatest performance, his wedding ceremony. Crow was Michelle's fiancé after all, and he would make it clear she belonged to him. I thought it would be the best night of my life. The campfire lit Michelle the best girl in the world. Her freckled face flushed full of smiles, jokes she held back, and, I hoped, feelings she held back. The rest of our friends found something else to do around the cabin, which was pretty messed up. She's the one who paid for this pre-wedding getaway, and we're all supposed to be here to celebrate her. However, she was never the best at picking good friends or boyfriends, which is part of the reason we're even here now. So, this is a little awkward, Michelle said in a lull between laughs and toyed with her glasses. I suppose this is why you don't invite your ex to a joint bachelor and bachelorette party, I smirked. Caught off guard, her glasses slipped from her hand and fumbled toward the fire. I dashed forward, saving them. The heat of the fire stoked the back of my hand as I waited on one knee for her to accept them from me. Her hand wavered above the glasses. The whole thing felt taboo, her ex-boyfriend on one knee for her, just past midnight beside a healthy fire. Still nervous, still delicate, Michelle took them from my hand, clasping my hand and lingering there. Michelle always had the opposite effect on me that I had on her. With Chell, I'm confident. With Chell, I can do whatever I want. I jumped. Behind her, sneaking out of the shadows of his cabin, was her fiancé. We made eye contact before he slumped away, like a supervillain. What? Michelle asked, noticing my face. Is he out here? Did he see? She spun around. Yeah, I said. I'm sorry. I should go. I had my suspicions of Crow, but this wasn't right. A week before their marriage, what was I thinking? I avoided eye contact as I walked away from her back to my room. No, Adrian, she said. Stay. It was her party, after all. Who was I to ever say no? I could never say no to her. Well, ever since we broke up. In the relationship was another story. I looked for Crow creeping in the shadows as he liked to do, but he hid well. Shadows, corners, and beside doors, Crow always found a way to stay back and observe. I know what she saw in him, and it wasn't good. She didn't chase love. Michelle wanted someone to shy to leave her. I didn't go back to my seat across from her. I sat in the chair beside her. Yes. Well, Crow thought it was a good idea, Shell said. Not scooting away from me, but getting comfortable. Our thighs touched, since we grew up together, as best friends and all. Does he know? No, he doesn't know why we broke up. I just told him we had mutual differences. Michelle smiled, and I saw the mischievous kid she once was flash on her face. Never around her parents, never around school, only around me. You're not scared of him, are you? She asked with a wicked smile. Why would I be scared of him? I asked. He's bigger than you. We both let the innuendo sit, and he has a massive D. Michelle, dude, stop. No, I scooted away. She slid closer. What? Why does it surprise you? He's so tall. No, I'm just surprised you let him make decisions. Considering I let that sit. Yes, we are getting married. Of course he can make decisions. But it's I should have finished. I should have called it what it was. A sham of a marriage that she was too good for. She met this guy online through a sketchy dating service, and he barely spoke English. Essentially, he was a mail-order husband. I would do anything for her to marry me, but even if it wasn't me, she should find someone to love her. I said none of that, because I wanted to see her smile. So I said, "Do you still believe in aliens?" "I got my wish," Michelle beamed and hooked my arm into hers. "Yes, yes, yes, so much, yes." I got one book on it that relates our folklore to modern alien sightings. It's called They've Always Been With Us. A friend gave it to me. Her husband wrote it. "Oh, which friend?" I asked. "Did she come to the cabin?" "No. She's been really busy with her husband recently." She paused, like something wasn't right. "But anyway, the book is based on interviews from those who've been abducted. They very well could be describing what we thought was just folklore, like banshees, vampires, and changelings." Michelle placed her head on my shoulder. Maybe platonic, maybe more. Flames shone on half her face and her orange hair. The rest was covered in shadow. "Can I tell you something?" she asked. "You just can't tell anybody else. They'll think I'm a freak." "Yeah." I nuzzled my head on top of hers. We watched the sticks fall in the fire as she told me a secret. "So this book," she said, "it had the theory that certain spells were really codes to bring the aliens down here, like an all clear. Like you can come to this place. Almost how you'd signal a plane to come down. So, summoning demons or whatever witches and warlocks did was really summoning aliens. Like telling them where they were was a safe space to land." "Okay, that's interesting. Here's the part that's going to scare you. I found one for changelings, and I did it." She sat up and smiled. "So Crow, he's a changeling." Her smile stopped, and she folded her arms. "No. What? Ew. No." I tried to summon one, and nothing happened. "Wait. No. What's the punchline then? Why tell the story without a punchline?" "Because it's embarrassing and supposed to be funny, and you're supposed to laugh." "Yeah, haha," I said sarcastically. But it did work. I knew there was something strange about him. How can you even afford a mail-order husband? You're not rich. It's an arranged marriage, and that's very mean. And I cut her off. Time was running out. The wedding was a week away, now or never. "There's certain opportunities here in the US. I quoted the phrase I heard from Crow verbatim. "Yeah, I've heard him say it. I want you to think, though. Jace and I were talking about this earlier." "Oh, Jace." Shell's eyes rolled. Until then, she had never had a problem with Jace. He was another childhood friend. She knew him better than Crow, and he was definitely a better guy than half of the people on the trip. Half of the guests on this trip treated me like trash. I didn't know what was going on in her head, but I pressed on. "Yes, Jace and I were talking. He's weird, Chell. I need you to think and put it together. Nothing makes sense about him." My heart raced. I saw the gears turning in her head. Michelle knew I had a point. Then he came. Crow's hand landed on my shoulder, a hand so large his fingers pressed into the veins of my neck and pushed down my shoulder. I didn't look up at him. Being next to him was like being next to a bear. There's a possible finality with every encounter. Crow stretched out to be 7 feet tall, blocking out the moon with his height, and Crow was massive enough to fill every doorframe he entered, his shadow covering me, Michelle, and the fire. But you know the strangest part about him? He looks a lot like me. Not the impressive physical features, but eye color, hair, olive skin tone, chubby cheeks, and slight overbite. Of course, I couldn't say that to anyone. What would I say? This 7-foot-tall giant looks a lot like me, except for all the interesting parts. "Hello, Adrian. Can I sit?" he said. "Yeah, of course," I said, and scooted over. He plopped on the log, breaking some part and pushing me off. I moved to another seat. The two lovers snuggled. I stayed long enough to be polite, and then I got up to leave. "No, stay," Crow said. "Keep Michelle company. I beg you. I'm going to bed early." He leaned over to kiss Michelle. "Good night, babe. Good night," she said, and turned her cheek to him. Caught off guard, he planted one on her cheek instead of her lips. I watched him leave. Creepy Crow didn't go back to his cabin. He went to the woods. "Oh, look, he's going back home," I joked. You should go. This isn't appropriate. Hey, he asked me to stay. It's fine. I can be alone. It doesn't look like it, I said, only feeling the weight of my words after the hurt smacked across Michelle's face. Michelle, no. I'm sorry. It was a joke. I'm joking. He's fine. Michelle ignored me and headed to her cabin. Michelle, Comande, I'm sorry. Shell? I stayed by the fire alone and thinking that in a way, this really was all my fault and that guilt might eat me alive. Perhaps half an hour deep into contemplation, I heard music come from the woods. I followed the sound into the woods, my footsteps crunching over dead leaves and snapping twigs that sounded too loud in my ears, but eventually, even that died, drowned by a fiddle. Wild, frantic, fiddle notes spiraled through the trees like they were being chased. Whistles darted after them, high and sharp, and then thudded a drum pounding with a rhythm that felt wrong like a three-legged elephant. My heart matched it, racing loud in my ears. After much researching after the fact, I found the song they sang it is called The Stolen Child, where dips the rocky highland of Sleuth Wood in the lake. There lies a leafy island, where flapping herons wake, the drowsy water rats. There we've hid our fairy vats, full of berries and of reddest stolen cherries. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand. For the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. I pushed past a final curtain of branches and froze. My breath caught in my throat. There, in a clearing lit by moonlight, and something else, something green and pulsing from the earth itself, Crow danced. Not the wobbling, toe-to-heel walk he did around the cabin. This was fluid, expert, his massive frame spinning and leaping like a ballerina. And he wasn't alone. They moved with him. Things that might have been human once, or tried to be. Their heads were too thick, swollen like overripe fruit, ready to burst, and their eyes either bulged from their sockets or stared unblinking, refusing to close. Skin hung on them in folds and creases, like old paper left too long in the Sunday. Their bodies bent wrong, backs curved into humps that made them list to one side, arms and legs thin as kindling that shouldn't support their weight. Some had bellies that swelled and sagged, tight and distended. All of them had that same sickly pallor, a yellowish white like spoiled milk. They danced around Crow in a circle, and Crow danced with them, and the music played on. I realized with a sick feeling in my gut that Crow was teaching them how to move, how to be human, and they sang the second verse. Away with us, he's going, the solemn-eyed. He'll hear no more the lowing of the calves on the warm hillside, or the kettle on the hob. Sing peace into his breast, or see the brown mice bob, round and round the oatmeal chest. For he comes, the human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand. For the world's more full of weeping than he can understand. I ran back to the cabins, bursting inside to the smell of weed and the blare of beeps coming from his switch. Byron, the best gamer of the group, seemed to be playing terribly at his game. His eyes bulged, like I was some cop, and he tossed his blunt aside. I practically leapt to him. I need you. Ha ha ha, dude, I thought you'd never ask. Not like that. Come to the woods with me now. There's something you need to see. Byron sighed for a long time. He snuggled himself in his blanket as he sat on the edge of the bed. His switch flashed the words, "Game over," again and again. Byron picked up the game again and readied to start again. Nah, I'm good here. This is an emergency. It's about Michelle. We have to save her. Nah, sorry, dude. My legs hurt. Please, I said. You're just high and lazy. Comande. I grabbed at the blanket and pulled. Byron tossed his precious switch and pulled back. It clattered to the floor, likely broken. Byron didn't seem to care. Dude, I'm staying here. What's your problem? I braced myself, pulling with all I had. I don't want to exaggerate, but her life could be in danger. Either you or Jace have to do it. Where's Jace? He left, man. I don't know. Byron didn't look at me, his focus on the blanket. He left? I yelled. You're telling me Jace left after buying a plane ticket? I laughed. Jace, who completed the survey on the back of receipts for free food. Jace, who pirated everything. Jace, who refused to buy a laptop because you can use Microsoft Word from your phone that Jace paid to get a new flight home. Frustrated, I pulled the blanket with all my might, bringing Byron to the floor. He got up quickly, staggered, and wobbled. Byron stumbled backward, arms flailing but didn't fall. He wobbled to the left, hands in the air like an inflatable outside of a car sales lot. Then to the right, then forward, then backward. Crunch. Something broke. Byron stood in front of me. His feet twisted inward so his toes touched. It looked horrific. My skin crawled. My brain lapsed. How could one push do that? Byron, sorry. I cut myself off. Byron didn't look in pain, just annoyed. I can never get the feet right once I start moving, he said with a stutter he never had before. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Byron flicked his tongue as if it was glued to his mouth, and he was trying to free it. And then my speech messes up. Byron, I asked. Are we? Byron hacked twice. Are we still doing this? We can't be honest? Do I sound like Byron? Can't you tell I'm something else? The voice that came out did not belong to Byron. The accent belonged to someone in Northern Europe and was full of bitterness. I ran back to the fire. It was dying, and the world felt colder. Michelle had come back, alone. Hey, Adrian, she said. Sorry, I ran off. I was just feeling... Michelle, enough. You're in danger, and we're leaving. Adrian. Michelle, now. She got up to run from me as if I was the problem. I'm not going anywhere with you. Think again, Michelle. Think honestly to yourself. What happened to Jace? I chased after her. She ignored me, but I got her eventually. I grabbed her wrist. Where's Jace? I made Crow kick him out because he was the same prick he always was. He just came up here to try to have sex with me, but I don't have to deal with that anymore. I didn't know that, but still. Think, how did you afford Crow? I asked again. I saved, Adrian. I saved because I want somebody who won't leave me. I won't leave you, Michelle. I love you! Then why didn't you stay when you had the chance? When we were together, why did you cheat on me? That part always hurts retelling it, because that's when I realized it was my fault. All my fault. I let her wrist go. I can love you now. The words croaked out, like I was the creature from another world struggling to speak. My tongue felt thick, and my words fell out hollow. Please, just give me another chance, or give anyone another chance. Not him. Trust me. I can't trust you, Adrian. I gave you my heart, so now you don't get to pick. Now you don't get to pick who I fall in love with. Hello, guys. I whirled around, saw Crow, and stepped in front of Michelle, keeping her away from him. Should I go? Crow asked. Yes, actually, we're going to go home, I said. Can you pack the bags, Crow? Come on, Shell. I reached out to her. No, I'm sick of everyone using me. She leaped up on her own and looked rabid. Dirt flowed down her red hair. You guys can take the cabin for the last night. I'm done. Crow, we're leaving. She stormed off. Crow tried to follow her. I grabbed a stick from the fire. Its edge burned red hot. What are you? I asked him. Something that has waited, he whispered. What? What's that mean? Something that is patient. What are you talking about? Something that can wait for his pleasure until the very end. Where's Jace? Where's the real Byron? Where Michelle will be. I charged. Stick first. He caught my wrist. The red glowing stick rested inches away from his heart. With my left hand, I pushed his face and sighed. I hurt myself, not him. His smile hung in a strange O shape. With both my legs, I swung my body to hit his legs and bring him down. He was as resilient as stone. My kick to his groin did nothing. Exhausted, defeated, I let go to regroup. Still, I had to save Michelle. I want to thank you, Adrian, he said. I charged again, expecting nothing better, but knowing I had to try. It worked! I stabbed into his chest. He fell to the floor, and I got to work, aiming for any soft part of his body to cut into. "Thank you, Adrian," he said, "to be like you, to finish my transformation. I thought I would have to put on such a performance, but no. All I had to do was not be you, and she fell into my arms. Thank you for your wickedness." Michelle screamed. I looked up and saw her running across the cabin to save her man. Adrian still smiled, knowing he played his role perfectly, the perfect victim. Michelle knocked me over. I'm told my head bounced against the earth, dragging me from consciousness. I, of course, was uninvited to the wedding. Everyone who was there was. They held a small wedding at the courthouse. She wore white and put her hair in a bun and wore her glasses as opposed to her contacts that day. She always said she would do that because it would be authentic. That's the last I saw of her, not even a Facebook post or Snapchat story, until I got a message from her about 3 months after the day she left the cabin. I'll show you. "Hey man, how's it going? Long time no see." Me. "It's so good to hear from you. I was worried, to be honest. I just want to apologize. How are things going with Crow?" Hey, the past is the past. Really good he wrote a book. In fact, I'm messaging you because I'd really appreciate it if you supported us and read it and tried it out. Me. Oh, that's awesome. What's it called? They've always been with us. Me. That's odd. Was it inspired by the one you showed me? Tell. Huh. Me. Why so many emojis? It's not like you. Yes, it is. I guess you didn't notice before. But to answer your question, nope, only one such book in existence. Me. Hey, Chell, why'd we break up? Wow. Weird question to ask someone, but mutual differences. I didn't text her back. Thank you for watching Nightmare Proof. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to keep the nightmares alive. Have a story of your own? Send it in, and you may hear it here next time. Until then, sleep well, if you can.